Hello, Chris Green here with the Flood Insurance Guru. Today we're talking about the love triangle of disaster assistance. When it comes to having that local, state, federal involved, all the different moving parts, why are you not getting your disaster assistance? Are you going to get disaster assistance? Well, we're going to talk briefly about that today because crap happens sometimes and we don't want you to be left out in the cold. So when it comes to disaster assistance, there's really three processes. You start at the local level. Local level has to declare a disaster declaration. That disaster declaration then has to be sent to the state level, to the governor, which then submits a disaster declaration to the federal, to the president. When it gets to the president's desk, he has to review it to make sure it meets certain criteria. So for example, with the recent flooding in Texas, one of those thresholds is $37.7 million in damage. Well, to date, this amount of damage has not occurred yet. It also has to impact 800 homes that did not have flood insurance. These 800 homes have got to have about 18 inches of water in them. So that's the other issue, is having enough homes that are not insured to get that disaster assistance. So if these things don't happen, you may not get your disaster assistance. Now, if a presidential disaster declaration hasn't been filed a few weeks after a disaster, it doesn't mean one won't be filed. There was one 6 months to a year ago that got filed and it didn't get approved for almost 9 months. And the reason is that FEMA has to come in and they have to do their assessments to determine those damages. They're not going to know right off the bat. And so these things do take time. But as I said, it can be almost like a love triangle between the state and the local and the federal, going back and forth. Because ultimately, it's up to the president. Congress actually has no control over whether your disaster declaration is approved or not. So could it have a political stand in it? Absolutely. But it's important to understand that Congress doesn't have any impact over the disaster declaration. That falls on the president. The president has to approve it himself. So it could be that your local level approves it, your state level approves it, but the president does not because it doesn't meet these guidelines. So this might be one of the reasons why you haven't gotten your disaster assistance. So if you've got disaster assistance questions about the flooding in Texas, from Harvey and the other tropical storm that just dumped 40 inches of rain in parts of Houston, please reach out to us. FloodInsuranceGuru.com. Go to our YouTube and our Facebook channels, The Flood Insurance Guru, where we do daily flood education videos. You can also give us a call, 205-451-4294. Remember, we have an educational background on flood mitigation, so we can help you understand your flood risk, like this one right here, your flood insurance, and mitigating your home against future flood losses and increases in flood premiums. Thank you.